500,000 years after the Galactic Council decided to destroy Earth, they had all but forgotten about humans. The decision to annihilate Earth had been easy for them back then, an upstart species showing signs of rebellion against the established order of the galaxy. Humanity had been small, primitive by the Council's standards, and the refusal to submit to Council rule was viewed as an annoyance. The Council's fleets descended, their plasma bombardments rendering Earth a lifeless husk. But humans were far from gone. In the icy reaches of deep space, 1,000 human ships had fled before the Council's onslaught, carrying with them not just survivors but the rage and will of an entire species. They hid, they rebuilt, and they evolved. While the Galactic Council thought them extinct, humanity had been growing stronger. For 500,000 years, humans had spread across uncharted parts of the galaxy, adapting to hostile worlds and mastering technologies the Council couldn't even imagine. Now the time for hiding was over. The Galactic Council's capital world, Caliprime, glittered in the endless night of space. It was the crown jewel of the galaxy, a planet-sized city of untold wealth and power. Today, the Council convened in its grand chamber, a sprawling dome of shimmering light. Delegates of every member species, the towering Zoreth, the insectoid Kriktal, and the gelatinous Aruvians among them, gathered to discuss matters of trade and law. They were blissfully unaware of the storm approaching. The chamber's peace was shattered when the alert klaxons blared. A security officer stumbled into the hall, his scales pale with fear. "High Counselors," he stammered, "a fleet has appeared on the edge of the system. It's unidentified." The Zoreth delegate, a massive being with golden scales, rose to his full height. "Unidentified? Impossible. Every species in this sector is accounted for." "Not this one," the officer replied, trembling. "The fleet? It's enormous. Hundreds of ships. Their technology is unlike anything we've seen." The Oruvian delegate's gelatinous body quivered nervously. What species dares to approach Caliprime without permission? A new voice echoed through the chamber, cold and unyielding. "We do." The counselors froze as a holographic figure materialized in the center of the room. It was humanoid, clad in black armor with glowing red lines that pulsed like veins. The faceplate of the armor was smooth, featureless, and intimidating. "I am Admiral Kale of the Human Vanguard," the figure declared. "You've had 500,000 years to prepare for this moment. Seems you've squandered it." Whispers erupted throughout the chamber. Humans? The name was faintly familiar to some, a footnote in ancient council records. To others, it was meaningless. The Kriktal delegate clicked its mandibles in irritation. "This is preposterous. Humans were destroyed eons ago. You cannot be who you claim to be." Hale's voice darkened, "And yet here we are." The human fleet moved through the outer defenses of the Caliprime system like a blade through silk. The Council's fleets, once considered invincible, were obliterated in mere minutes. The human ships were sleek and deadly, bristling with weaponry that operated on principles beyond the understanding of the Council's scientists. The few Council ships that survived fled in terror, their crews broadcasting frantic warnings. In the Council chamber, panic reigned. "What do you want?" the Zoreth delegate demanded, his voice trembling despite his imposing stature. Kale's helmeted face tilted slightly as if considering the question. "Revenge," he said simply. "When you destroyed Earth, you thought you had ended us. You were wrong. Humanity is stronger than ever. And now, we're here to settle the score." The Uruvian delegate tried to negotiate, its voice gurgling with desperation. "Surely we can come to an arrangement. The destruction of your planet was a regrettable decision made long ago. Most of us here had nothing to do with it." Kale's laughter was devoid of humor. "Regrettable? You reduced an entire world to ash because we wouldn't bow to your tyranny, and now you plead for mercy?" The chamber fell silent as Kale's words echoed. Then he leaned closer to the holographic projector, his voice low and menacing. "Humanity doesn't forget, and we certainly don't forgive." As the human fleet reached Caliprime itself, its true capabilities became clear. Massive dreadnoughts deployed smaller strike ships, which darted through the planet's defenses with surgical precision. Planetary shields that had held for millennia crumbled under the onslaught of human weaponry. On the surface, chaos erupted. Council citizens fled into underground bunkers, while military forces scrambled to mount a defense. But it was hopeless. The humans' technology wasn't just advanced, it was transformative. Swarms of drones disarmed planetary defenses with electromagnetic pulses. Cities were disabled, not destroyed, their infrastructure left intact but useless. Humanity wasn't here to annihilate. They were here to dominate. Admiral Kale's final message to the Council was transmitted across every channel on Kalar Prime. This is the reckoning you have earned. For 500,000 years, we've endured, evolved, and prepared. You called us primitive once. Now you will call us your conquerors. Surrender or be swept aside. In the aftermath, the Galactic Council capitulated. The surviving delegates were rounded up and forced to sign a new charter, one that placed humanity at the head of the galaxy's governance. Resistance was futile. The humans had proven they were not to be trifled with. But humanity's revenge didn't end with domination. They implemented reforms across the galaxy, dismantling the corrupt systems the Council had upheld for millennia. Oppressed species were liberated, and ancient rivalries were brought to heel under humanity's iron grip. The galaxy entered a new era, an era of human rule. Kale stood on the bridge of his flagship, gazing out at the ruined Council fleets drifting in orbit around Kalar Prime. He removed his helmet, revealing a face hardened by centuries of war, but not without traces of humanity. They thought they'd destroyed us, he said softly to his second-in-command. But humans were not so easy to erase. The officer nodded. What now, Admiral? Kale's lips curled into a faint smile. Now, we rebuild, we lead, and we make damn sure no one forgets the name of humanity again. As the human fleet departed Kalar Prime, leaving the shattered remnants of the Galactic Council behind, one thing was clear. Humanity had returned, and the galaxy would never be the same.